Hi, we're the Wandering Nickels. I'm Matt.
And I'm Angela, and today we're going to show you a tour of our Skoolie. Come on in. Alright, so the first thing we have here is you come up into our entryway spot for hooks for hanging coats and jackets and bags. We also have a switch for our outside light, as well as on the other side here we've got a switch for the interior light and basket. One of the favorite features, my favorite features in the bus is our bookshelf, and so we took the door off and we turned this into a bookshelf. We can have some of our books on display, and Rayanna, our oldest, kind of created a sunrise sunset look up here on the header. I also really liked keeping the original bus mirror, because when I'm driving and I can still see everything that's going on behind, so I know which of the kids I need to yell at to sit down and make sure that the kids are behaving. I'm really glad that we left the original bus mirror, and also a basket for all the other shoes, because with a large family there's always tons and tons of shoes. Coming into our living space, have a couch here that has built-in storage. We've used indoor-outdoor couch cushions for washability. This also is wide enough to become a bed for our 5th child to sleep on. The storage in here is incredibly huge. We have room for her bedding. We have room for books and business materials, school books and art supplies and extra food and raincoats and just all sorts of whatever we want to be storing. Here on the other side we have our dining room. One of the things that was really important to us when we were building out this bus was to have a spot that all of us could get around the table. We wanted to be able to all sit down to eat at the table. We wanted to be able to play games together. We needed a spot for the kids to do their schoolwork. So we actually designed this table to pull out. Just lifts up, pulls out, and we have a table leaf store here behind the seat, and fits just right in place like this. So we can actually get 8 people in theory around this table. We've had all 7 of us around here. We also have another little stool that hides behind, and one of the kids can sit here, and we can have all 7 of us going for another around the table. We decided to keep the bus seats to use for our dinette space, because they are made of some of the strongest steel and are really great in case of an accident. They also wash up really well, and in an adventure bus, when you're outside getting dirty, getting wet, being able to wash things up was really important, and also with the dog is also really able to be clean. The original bus seats is that they do actually hinge up, and so we can store inside, we can store games, we can store school books. They also have the seat belts that we have attached to here, so when we are driving, the kids can have their seat belts and be safe. Both sides actually do that. On this side, we put in shoulder harnesses, because when you are sitting here, you don't want to be in an accident and end up with a bunch of busted ribs. So, and the seat also opens up to the bus heater, the seat belts, and then the corner here where we store our window screens. All right, so moving into the kitchen. The kitchen is one of the rooms, besides the living space, that has undergone the most revisions for us. When we started out, we wanted to just be able to get on the road really fast, so we didn't have anything down here. All of this was open. Everything was stored in laundry baskets, and I always like it to tell that, because your build doesn't have to be perfect before you get on the road. It's been 2 years of traveling with all of our food and our dishes in laundry baskets, and that worked really well, and we had lots of memories. So now we finally have a complete kitchen. We have upper cupboards for storing dishes, anything, you name it. I love, again, using magnets. And so we have magnets, and we store all of our tin cups and our tin dishes up in here, and the cups store on magnet strips that are actually screwed to the ceiling of the bus. We have these window locks, actually, from a residential window that just kind of hold everything in place and work as our knobs also for locking it, and they're not going to be going anywhere. We've just put in this 4.4 something cubic foot refrigerator. Before this, we were using a cooler, and we were making our own ice because we also have a chest freezer, which I'll show you in a minute. Big drawers that store tons of food, pots and pans, and kids could fit in here. We don't have a built-in oven or stove because we wanted to keep the counter space open. So the way we cook with a either an portable induction cooktop, or we have a 2-burner propane stove that we can set up here, or we can take outside when we want to cook with a stovetop. So like I mentioned, we don't have a built-in cooktop. We use either the induction stovetop portable, or we use the propane camp stove, or we also do a lot of our cooking using the Instant Pot. We have a full off-grid setup, which Matt is going to explain more about. So we can run the Instant Pot off of our solar, off of the batteries. We could run it, when we're plugged into shore power. We use the Instant Pot a lot. We've even used it driving a couple times, so that way when we got to the campsite, we were, could all eat. And so up here, we just have more of like the large kitchen appliances. We also save space and energy and time with an electric tea kettle. Again, this also locks. So when we're driving, nothing is going to move around. And as I mentioned, we travel with our freezer. It's important for us because of the different food restrictions that our family has, that we are able to bring food from home, some of it that we've raised ourselves. And so we brought the freezer, and it's like a 7 cubic foot chest freezer. We've been using it as we travel for the last 2 years, and it's worked really, really well for us. Behind this upper cupboard, behind our chest freezer, is all of our electronics, stuff that's fairly easy to get to. When we need to get closer into the batteries, this bar comes off and the freezer slides out so we can get to everything that's behind it. So we also wanted a nice and deep sink, so the sink itself doesn't take up a really large footprint here. It's extra deep. We also have a faucet here that we specifically chose so that we can open up the window and then we can reach it outside. We can rinse off the kids, we can rinse off the dog. We also travel with a Berkey water filter system. We never know where our water is coming from, and water is one of the most important things when you're traveling, to make sure it is clean and it is pure. So this Berkey has done really well for it. It's really one of the best. Having it right here next to the sink also allows us to take the lid off and just fill it right here from the hose. We also have down below here, we have additional storage for garbage and our instant propane hot water heater. So each of our 4 youngest kids each have their own bed and their own space. Our oldest is the one that sleeps on the couch because she's usually up the latest and up the earliest. So they all have their own bed space. They get to bring their own blankets, their own pillows from home. They get to decorate their beds their own way that they want to. They get to bring some toys. They have also, around the corner here, they've got a basket where they can store their books, and another basket for toys. The big kids also have a shelf which they can put some of their knickknacks and stuff on. Under the beds, we built the beds over top of the wheel wells, which makes a really nice divider for things. And Garrison, show us where you would keep your clothes when we're traveling. each of the kids has a basket like this, and when we're traveling, and we were just doing renovations, so everything is, we're at home and everything's in the house now, and they can bring whatever they want as long as it fits inside the basket. One of the additions that we made this year that we were really thankful for before we went to Oklahoma and Missouri in June was the addition of our air conditioner. Before this, air conditioners were just open all the windows and try not to be miserable when it was hot. Having this rooftop AC was huge, very nice addition. Then going into the bathroom here, we have a homemade custom composting toilet here with a urine diverter that goes into our gray water tank. So that is all housed here, and then things like our sawdust, composting medium are stored in here. Also, again, storage. Anytime you can put storage on the wall and make it look nice. So that's what we did here with the shoe rack. Everybody has their own pocket for all of their own bathroom stuff, shampoo and conditioner. In the corner here, we have a sink. Wanted to stick with a rustic theme, so we got some galvanized pails and we custom created our own sink. You'll notice it is like a dry sink. It doesn't have a faucet, but it's directly across from the kitchen faucet. When we need to wash up here in the bathroom, we just grab some hot water from the kitchen faucet and put it in here, and it does have a drain that goes directly down into the gray water tank. Back here in the main bedroom, well, we really went back and forth with what we wanted to do back here, but we finally decided we wanted to keep the walkway open all the way through, from the back door all the way to the front, so we can haul kayaks or bikes or anything else that we need to. We can use this space for hauling things. We can have more floor space for the kids to be able to play on rainy days. So we opted to go with 2 separate twin beds, and it's really worked quite well. The kids also love to ride back here. They'll just prop up the pillows and they'll sit back here. It becomes extra living space, 2 extra couches, and so the 2 beds has actually worked really well, and we've really enjoyed it. Inside each of the beds, we have lots of storage. We have our water tanks. We have 2 44-gallon water tanks. We have a diesel heater, and they're under this bed here are custom fishing rod holders. We're storing those fishing rods. On the side over here, we have the other 44-gallon water tank. We have dirty laundry storage, and we have extra blanket storage. Up above here, we have storage for clothes, for blankets. Again, they lock the same way that the kitchen ones do with the residential window lock, and so just lots of storage. The back part of our bus, what we call our garage space. It's a closet space, it's a catch-all space, it's a major storage space. We have toolboxes on either side here that we use bungee straps to hold the drawers in place when we are traveling. We have a spot for our beach chairs, which are perfect for sitting up on the roof deck. And this is the ladder, the adjustable ladder that we can either then use outside to get up onto the roof deck, or we can set it up inside also.
All right, I'm gonna go over all the electrical stuff in the bus. We've got 600 watts of solar on the roof. It's 6 100-watt panels. Up top here, we've got a Renogy 3000 watt inverter. This currently just runs our freezer and fridge, and then when we need to, we plug in the Instapot to it. We've got a power strip that runs off of that also. We do have a meter, the Victron here. We've not mounted this anyplace yet. We haven't decided where we want to mount it, so for now it just sits here. It could go in other spots. The solar comes in behind this cabinet back here. And then we also have our WeBoost is back here. And then we've got an antenna for the WeBoost right here. All of our batteries are behind the freezer here. We have 4 100 amp hour Dakota lithium batteries. So all the batteries come into there. Got our master shut off. I used heavy wire on everything I could. If it called for one size, I typically went up a size. I just wanted to make sure I could upgrade later if I wanted. Under here we've got the DC to DC charge controller from Victron. So this runs off the alternator of the bus to charge the batteries. We haven't really needed it with the solar and everything else. It's just kind of there as a backup. Then I've got 150 MPP Victron solar charge controller. That works really good to keep the batteries charged. Got the generator power, the converter for shore power, the solar, and then the alternator charging. So 4 different ways to charge the batteries. I've got a 12-volt fuse panel down to the left that runs all of our diesel heaters and all the 12-volt lights and everything like that. And then our AC unit here, this is a 15,000 BTU unit, and it does pretty well. We were in 100-some degree temperature in Oklahoma, and it was livable in here. Other thing is the diesel heater, that's 12-volt. That is plumbed directly to the fuel tank. And in the fuel tank, I have a titanium tube with the hose going into it so it doesn't float around, and it's held up off the bottom about 6 inches off the tank, so you don't run your tank dry.
So this is actually one of my favorite places in the bus. I actually love driving the bus. I didn't think that I would be. I was really kind of nervous about it at first, but after the first couple of days of driving, I just love it. I love driving the bus. This is a 2003 Thomas Freightliner. We have a 5.9 Cummins. We have an Allison transmission, automatic. It really handles very well, and it's just been it's been fun.
All right, so for the outside of the bus, we've got 4 storage bays. The first one we use for like our water hose, some of the kids' play toys, our electrical cord. These all lock. We've got an outside light with a switch inside, so at night you can see coming in and out. The middle one, we just keep our propane and then spare adapters, ratchet straps, stuff like that. And this one keeps the gray water hose, and they store well in there. This is the generator bin. Again, these lock. We've got a 4,000 watt generator. It's a Champion. We're running AMSOIL in it and everything. It's set up for propane right now. Can do propane or gas. I've got it plumbed for propane. I've got a spare 120 extension cord here. I keep the air hose for the tire, the air chuck for the tires in here. Works really good. So we ran that, again, last time we were in Oklahoma, we had to run it. It was 100 and something out, and that it got warm under there, but sitting with the high temp, it did fine. I've got it, I redid the exhaust on the generator and added a flange. So I've got flex hose coming out, so the exhaust actually exhausts outside. I didn't want it exhausting under the bus, so it comes outside of the bus. That works really well. We've got all brand new tires. Not brand new, but as of, I think it was last year, we put all new tires all the way around, all new brakes. And our roof rack was a custom build. This is all aluminum, it's not steel, it's aluminum. So I was actually able to lift this up myself. It's super lightweight. It's bolted through the frame ribs on the bus in 6 spots. And then it's got a 2x6 treated deck on the top. And that works really well for hauling kayaks or luggage, or we did a lawnmower once up there. So, all right, on this side of the bus, so we've got our water fill here. This goes into the one tank and then fills up both of them at the same time. That's been handy. We've got our gray water tank underneath here. And it worked really well to do these, I think they're T-track or T-struts, whatever they are. I've got 5 of them on there, bolted directly to the frame. There is room on this side of the bus if you wanted to add more toolboxes. Next here we've got the WeBoost. I mounted the antenna here. This has been handy. I put it on a spring. So as the wife hits stuff,
Hey,
it's been really good. I've got it in stages, so actually our CB antenna is up at a certain height, so I can kind of tell how high stuff is. And then this is higher than the roof rack. So if at any point we hit the WeBoost, which we normally don't, we know that the roof rack will miss. So as long as this misses, everything else is clear. But it's on a spring, so if you hit a branch or anything, it doesn't hurt it at all. But the WeBoost has been awesome. There's times we don't have service at all, and the WeBoost will give you almost full bars, even in spots that are pretty low. So we've enjoyed having that. It comes in handy. So that's pretty much it on the outside.